Hey, Church Online Summit. My name is Ben Stapley. Excited that you guys are tuning in and learning today. Let me tell you a little bit about myself before I jump into my talk. I serve on the executive team at Christ Fellowship in Miami. We got 7 campuses locally and 11 globally. I also get a chance to write and speak about creativity, leadership, and media at benstapley.info. So that's who I am. This is what I'm going to talk about today. Church Online chat hosts. If you get these people and if you do it right, you make the experience so much more engaging. People don't just come and consume the experience, they come and contribute to it. So that's my big idea. That's the win. Now let me tell you how to do it. I have 10 best practices that apply to any platform that you're on. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Chop, you name it, these best practices will apply. And then I also have 4 best practices for Facebook and Chop, the church online platform provided for free from Life Church. If you've never heard about that, pause right now, open a new tab, go and download that right now, embed it on your website. It's a great experience for people who are naturally going to your website. It gives them a chance to experience and chat with the experience on your website. I can't more highly speak about it than I just have. Do it. So here are my 10 best practices. 1, 2 chat hosts at every service. This does a couple of things. If you have 2 chat hosts, they're allowed to, and they can, talk to each other. This is nice because it makes a natural conversation amongst themselves before they invite somebody else into that conversation. If you just have 1 chat host, sometimes it can be like crickets. How's everyone doing? No response. What do you think of the message? No response. 2 chat hosts, the people are responding to each other, and then other people join in and jump into that conversation. 2, the same chat host for particular service hours. You might have multiple services, multiple experiences, 9, 10, 11, 12. Imagine if this chat host at the 9 o'clock on week 1 was the same chat host on week 2. This would do a couple of things. First of all, that chat host would start to see rhythms and people showing up with particular regularity. They would be able to invite people, speak to people directly, remember the prayer request from last week, and ask how it's going this week. If you have the same chat host at that same service hour, week after week after week, it builds that pastoral rapport with them. Try to do that. 3, envision the guest. Envision the guest of someone that you love, someone that God loves, friend, family member, coworker, someone that might be far from God, but you want to see draw near to God. If you envision the guest this way, it's going to completely change the way in which you conduct the chat host. It's going to be warm. It's going to be relatable. It's going to draw people in. Envision the guest. Don't just chat to the universe. Chat to particular people that you envision and that you love. 4, encourage engagement. When you see people jumping into the live feed, people that you know, call them out. Say, hey, Frank, it's great to see you. Samantha, I haven't seen you a week. How are you doing? Call them out. Pull them into the conversation. Bring out the best of them. Engage, engage, engage. That's the key. Don't just wait for them to engage you. You engage them first. Draw them in to conversation. 5, ask questions. You want to ask as many questions to solicit feedback from people. Try to keep them open-ended and try to keep them softballs. Stuff like, hey, where are you watching from today? What's your favorite song? What do you think of that last message point? How are you going to apply this tomorrow? And who do you want to invite next week? These questions pull people in. Again, the goal is so that they come and not just consume the experience, but contribute to it as well. Any question that the on-camera talent is asking themselves, make sure to jump in and ask that question to the people chatting as well. 6, steer the conversation. Sometimes the conversation gets off topic, and most of the times it's innocent. Hey, the weather's really terrible today. I can't wait to get outside. Stuff like that. But once in a while, the conversation really goes off topic and needs to be steered back. Sometimes it can get contentious very quickly. One of the things I like to encourage people is to watch out to politics. That is very divisive. If you see divisive conversations like politics come up, steer people away from that quickly, or the conversation can unravel very quickly online. 7, clickable URLs. Whenever the on-camera talent is talking about an action step, hey, prayer, give, community engagement, small groups, whatever it might be, make sure to provide that URL in which people can participate with a clickable URL. Now, hey, it's going to take them away from the experience, but don't worry. they're going to do an action step, which is what you want them to do. Again, they're not just coming to consume, you want them to contribute. So give them that URL, allow them to contribute and take an action step. Hopefully, they then come back to your experience as well. If not, you've led them down a spiritual pathway in which they're hopefully going to take another step closer towards Christ and their Creator. 8. Words matter. So watch your spelling, punctuation, and grammar. The last thing you want to do is to confuse people or even alienate them because of poor spelling. So whenever you write a sentence, always double check the words in it before you hit enter. Again, watch that spelling, punctuation, and grammar. Keep people engaged as much as possible by keeping the communication clear for them. 9. Connection cards. Make sure multiple times throughout the experience to push your digital connection cards. Here's the reason why. Views are good. Shares are good, likes are good, comments are good, but connection cards, those are great. Connection cards allows you to follow up with people throughout the week. It gives you their email, their cell phone, their contact info, and that allows you to follow up with them and continue them down their spiritual journey. Continue pushing them, encouraging them closer towards Christ and their Creator. Push connection cards multiple times throughout the experience. And 10, don't feed the trolls. You may have people that are going to look to troll your experience. Let's call it out. If it hasn't happened for you yet, God bless you. It will happen to you soon. These are people who are just looking to be destructive to the conversation. They're not looking to add value. They're not even looking to say something off their fringe. They're looking to be toxic and disruptive to the conversation. Talking about foul language, abusive language, stuff that you need to block right away. If you see this, make sure your chat hosts know how to block people quickly so that they don't need to see a conversation unravel by someone just spewing hate speech throughout the conversation. If you see a troll, block them right away. So those are my 10 best practices in general for hosting. Now, I have 4 particular best practices for Facebook and for Chop. Realize that I've recorded this at the beginning of the pandemic, so the platforms may have changed over time, but right now, these are my 4 best practices for Facebook. The first one is pinning a comment. The first thing you should do as the organization is pin a comment as the organization. I usually like to start with, hey, welcome, we're so glad you're here. If you want to find out more, visit our, and you insert the URL of your website there. You write that as the official branded comment from the organization, then you pin it. This does 2 things. It lets people know what the official word is from the organization. It keeps it up top in the chat the whole time, and then if people want to move towards your website at any point, they have that URL super handy. 2, comment as yourself. The rest of the comments should be made as yourself, as the individual. This does a couple of things. It humanizes the experience by putting a face, not just the organization, behind the comments. Also, I would encourage you to use the host badge that Facebook recently came out with. It not only keeps you as an individual, but it raises you up in your legitimacy as the host navigating this conversation. 3, reply to people. If someone brings up a question, comment, or concern, don't just reply generically, reply to them in particular. This helps everyone stay clear of what is being said in relationship to other people. It avoids a lot of confusion. Reply to people directly. And 4, share the love. After the experience is over, click on that share button and you can find out all the people that shared the service. Go to each of their timelines, like the fact that they shared, and write something simple as, thank you for sharing this and spreading the love. That will do a couple things. First of all, it affirms what they've done, and we all know what gets rewarded gets repeated. So it will increase that next time down the road. Share the love by doing that. So those were 4 best practices for Facebook. Now I have 4 unique best practices for Chop, the church online platform from Life Church as well. If you haven't downloaded this free resource and embedded it in your website, what are you waiting for? Go there today, use this. It's incredible, great platform for people that are naturally going to your website. Give them this experience there as well. The first thing is update your profile. That's the first suggestion I give. Make sure your name is on there and a photo of yourself. Nobody wants to see Skaterboy884 on there, some weird handle. And last, they don't want to see a picture of your cat. They want to see you. Make sure it's got your accurate name and an accurate photo of yourself. 2, reply to people. Right now, the best way to do that on Chat is using the @ symbol and then the person's name. This again avoids the confusion with who are you replying to as the host. It makes things super clear. Use the @ then the person's name, and then write your comment afterwards. That will avoid a lot of confusion. 3, live prayer. This is an incredible feature from Chop, but you only should use it if you're going to use it. What I mean by that is you don't want to say, hey, write in your prayer request. People click on that tab and then you don't respond. If someone's written a prayer request, they should get a response. So only use that feature, only encourage that feature if you're going to use that feature. If not, disable it. Don't encourage people. You don't want them going to a desert, to a ghost town, and getting no response from you as the host. Not good. And 4, notes. There's a great feature on Chop called Notes. There you can put conversation topic starters, you can put URLs, you can put FAQs, you can put a lot of information for your chat hosts to easily access during the conversation. They can jump in there, cut and paste, and throw it back into the chat if they need to. Make sure to utilize this note feature for your chat hosts. Set them up for success. So, those are my 10 general best practices for church online chat hosts. I gave you guys 10 general best practices and then 4 for Facebook and 4 for Chop. But here's the deal. I know I missed some. So I would love to hear from you. Jump on benstapley.info and let me know which ones I missed because I want to learn from you. Hopefully this time was encouraging and equipping for you. Hopefully you enjoyed the rest of the Church Online Summit. Thank you so much for listening. Have yourself an awesome day.